Hey guys, Ruby here and welcome back to my channel. Today's makeup look is all about this super glam yet simple Instagram selfie makeup look. Keep watching to see how I get this beautifying look. Yikes, okay, we're starting off with no makeup on and a few blemishes and spots. I've already popped my skincare on. It's now time to apply a face primer. This is the Napoleon Purtis Autopilot Face Primer, and this is definitely one of the best feeling primers I've ever put on my skin. For an ultra glam makeup look, you need your skin to look super flawless, and you want your foundation to be medium to full coverage with no SPF for no flashback. One of my favorite foundations to use for flash photography is the Dior Air Flash, the foundation in a can. This has zero SPF, feels like a second layer of skin, but still has a decent amount of coverage. I'm in between shades, so I'm using 200 and 300, mixing them together to create my perfect shade, and then I'm just blending it in using a large buffing brush. To get the most from your eyeshadows, you need to apply a decent base or primer. I'm using the Stay Don't Stray by Benefit Cosmetics. I love this one because it color corrects and conceals any discoloration and helps the longevity of your eyeshadows. No creasage. For the perfect insty brow, Anastasia is the way to go. I'm using the Brow Sculptor and this is in the shade Soft Brown, and I'm just filling it in quite heavily so that we don't see any gaps, so that our eyebrows are photograph ready. Cement those crazy brow hairs down using a brow gel. This is the Brow Plumper by L'Oreal Paris. It is one of my favorites. For a sharper brow look, take some light concealer and start running that on the edge of your brow. Since we're going for a simple glam look, I'm using the shade Blanc type by M.A.C Cosmetics to really blank out my eyelids and also my crease so that the colors that we place on top really pop. I'm picking up the shade Omega by M.A.C, and with a slightly tapered blending brush, I'm running that through the socket and up close to the brow bone as my transition shade. With my 217 brush, I dipped into a little bit of Espresso, also by M.A.C, and I'm running this directly into the crease. For a fresh cut crease effect, I'm taking the shade Espresso once again, but this time on a flat shader brush, and I'm running this directly into the crease, creating a small, soft line. You want to etch this line from the outer corner straight to the center point of the eye. You can always tilt your head back so you can locate your socket and draw that line with ease. Just be sure to keep the mobile lid clean and free of any brown shades. I'm still working with the shade Espresso, and this time I'm running this shade underneath the lower lash line and pulling this upwards and outwards towards the outer corner of the eye. It's time to define the eyes further, and I'm using the shade Carbon by M.A.C, and I'm running that underneath my lower lash line on the outer third using an angled brush. Extend the line of the outer corner slightly upwards, creating a wing, just like this. And I've picked up the brush that I used earlier to soften that line. Now that our lower lash line is complete, we can now move on and create our wing. I'm using the L'Oreal Paris Gel Liner in black and my M.A.C 263 angled brush to create the perfect line. You can make your wing as thin or as thick as you want, but I'm keeping my wing quite modest today. I'm keeping the size of my wing quite reasonable as it suits everyday wear as well. If you struggle creating your wing liner, I highly recommend you start using an angled brush as it literally does all the work for you. Crisp up that line by taking a little bit of concealer close to the edge and start buffing it out for a seamless overall. Tightline the eyes to add fullness to the lashes and use a curler to lift and curl those babies. This curler that I'm using is by Lancome. I want my under eyes to be super highlighted, which is why I'm going to start layering products. The first product that I'm taking is a color corrector for under the eyes. It's by Bobbi Brown in the shade Light Biss, and I'm applying a small amount mostly on the inner corners of my eyes. So for that super bright highlighted look, I'm using the Age Rewind by Maybelline. This is such an amazing concealer and it's so affordable. The applicator applies the product so seamlessly and it's just so great to use underneath the eyes because it's so delicate. I'm also using this to highlight around my face too, and I'm just blending it out, firstly using the Models Prefer Airbrush Concealer Brush, and now I've moved on to the M.A.C Oval 6 brush. So the highlight has gone above and beyond and just completely powdered out the rest of my face as well, so I'm taking a little bit of bronzer and applying that on the high points of my face. The rest of the products that I'm going to be using on my face are powders, which is why I'm setting with my Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. This is an amazing powder, definitely worth the hype and the money. This gives the skin a really flawless look. Off camera, I applied some false eyelashes. These are the M.A.C number 43 lashes, and I'm using a little bit of liner to conceal the glue and the band. To give my skin some extra warmth, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Bronzer, and I'm applying that on the high points of my face to really amp up the cream bronzer that we applied earlier. I'm still using the same bronzer by Charlotte Tilbury, but this time I'm using an angled cheek brush that is slightly smaller. This is going to give us that chiseled look that we're after, so we're going to be contouring with this brush. I'm also using a Charlotte Tilbury blush, and I'm using this not only on the apples of my cheeks, but I'm dragging it upwards along my cheekbone to give my face more lift. With the contour shade we used earlier on our cheeks, I'm using a small amount on an eyebrow brush and applying this on the tip of my nose. This will help to shorten and narrow the shape of the tip. One of my favorite tricks in the book, I love applying a line directly across my nose. This gives the illusion that my nose is more turned up. I really like the way that my nose looks when I do this. It's like a nose job but without the price tag of a nose job, if you know what I mean. Thank goodness we have makeup. Thumbs up this video if you agree with me. Usually when you apply your concealer close to your eyeshadow on the lower lash line, you tend to get like a very harsh line. So I'm picking up a little bit of espresso once again, but this time I'm just softening out that line to create more of a hazy effect on that bottom lash line. With a small detailed brush, I'm picking up my Becca Pressed Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Moonstone, and I'm running this on the inner tear ducts of my eye. And this is what the makeup looks like so far. Here I'm just swapping brushes because I want to apply some of that Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone on the tops of my cheekbones. And oh my god, I don't know what I've done with my life. I just recently picked up this product and I am in love. I love the way that it just lifts the cheekbones, making them look a lot higher. And man, does it photograph nicely. Leaving skin alone, I'm onto lips, and I'm taking Spice Lip Pencil from M.A.C, and I'm using this shade to just line the perimeters of my lips. This is going to give the nude lipstick that we're using on top a little bit of warmth. I'm now taking Very Victoria by Charlotte Tilbury all over the lips, and I absolutely love this shade. It is so beautiful. This is perfect for everyday glam or even just a makeup selfie. With that small detailed brush, I'm picking up a lighter concealer shade and running that on the perimeter of my lips just to give my lips a sharper, cleaner look. Now take a synthetic brush just to diffuse those edges, and with that brush that we used on the lower lash line, I'm applying a little bit of that espresso shade underneath my lower lip to make my lips appear a lot bigger, and also in my hairline. This gives the hair some fullness. Now the real test, these are the images that I posted. This is how the makeup looks. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in my next video.